step into the ring, it's Monday Night Fire. My rhymes burn hotter than a funeral pyre. I'm the heavyweight champ, you can call me sire. Reviewing raw like a southern rap messiah. Crossing over lines like I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. Flipping opponents like I'm Randy Orton. Dirty South flow, my words they be caustic. Every verse I drop got them head nodding. Spit lyrical punches like a ruthless fighter. Got the crowd hype, I'm the crowd igniter. Breaking down the raw matches, no denier. Dirty style rap, I'm the Monday night supplier.
Bada boom, bada bing. It's the two original guys back on the scene. How goes it? How are you doing? We got Austin Cohen already jumping in here, Grun. We already got a fan.
Yo!
How are you doing? Thank you for joining us. And we got Nick. How goes it, Nick? Host of his own wrestling podcast. And go check them out, man. Fridays, you can go and check them out. I believe 7 o'clock. They put on a great show. Nick and Nikki have a great show, but we're here for our show. Grunmeister, how are you on this fantastic Patriots Day, my friend? Oh, I went there and I said it loud. So how are you doing, my friend Grun?
Oh, do you know what? I am doing fantastic because tonight is the debut episode of Raw on Netflix, the start of John Cena's farewell tour, where we're getting and just an insane card, and it's gonna be 3.5 hours long, and we've maybe gotten maybe an hour of what's gonna be on Raw tonight has been revealed, which means what the hell is gonna be on the other 2.5 hours?
Hopefully some fucking wrestling, eh?
Hell yeah.
Man, I can't wait. This is exciting. Like, you just came in here on the behind the scenes, and you started that off with it's an hour or 3.5 hour long.
Yeah,
that's almost a mania.
it
Right
is
there, you know.
But I mean, like, this is a big deal because, like, sure, there was the WWE Network, and WWE has been on Peacock, but this is the number one streaming platform, whether people like it or not. Netflix is the number one streaming platform, however you want to look at it.
No, you're right on that one. It's taken over.
Yeah, like, Raw needs to succeed on this if Netflix wants to really take over.
Yeah, and I think, okay, as a fan, obviously I want it to happen. I want this to succeed. And I think if it does, this really opens up more opportunities. I mean, you already have what we talked about for months and months and months. And then we watched Tony Khan tease for months and months and months. AEW finally went to a max deal. Grun, you actually were new in the group when we started talking about that. I believe I was still covering random AEW things, and that's what I was begging for, was a max deal. But we have the Netflix deal, which is happening tonight. It's going to be the very first one. I know in our chat we talked about some of the things happening. Fans, if you're out there, go out there and check out the Triple H narration of the opening. Like, it's just, and I don't mean the opening of the whole show. I mean the opening of today with what we're about to witness here in an hour. We are 56 minutes outside of the Raw, the very first one on Netflix. Let's hope they, though, did fix the old too many people watching at one time thing.
I mean, I think there is a good chance that we probably see more viewers in comparison to how we normally see on than Raw normally gets for live viewers, but I don't, but like we got to remember that like, the Mike Tyson Jake Paul pay-per-view had 86 million viewers, and it's unlikely that WWE that Raw is going to get anywhere close to that, maybe 5 million at the top end, but
I
we'll see.
I could see where you're coming from on that one. And I mean, really, in the replay is where you get the WWE fans and
Yeah.
the large amount of eyes. And we got the boss man himself, House, chiming in. Time to lick some windows. He knows what time it is. He knows exactly what's happening in his household right now. But yeah, I'm super fucking excited about tonight. And yes, I know we're probably not even going to bring home a dime on this episode because I've already said the forbidden word within 5 minutes of this. But uh, tonight is something to actually be really excited about for a wrestling fan. This has been long in the wait because I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like this is we're dipping our toe back into the Attitude Era. It's going to have more allowance for those types of things to happen. Maybe a little more than PG-13. Maybe we get some actual blood back. You know, when you get hit with an object, you should bleed.
Yeah, so like I'm pretty sure now. I know that they've said that they are definitely going to try and stay more PG, but at the same time, like I think I don't think WWE is unaware of the fact that most fans want them to edge away from PG a little bit more, and Netflix can definitely give them that opportunity, and they don't need much. And guys,
No,
I know for months we've been seeing on TikTok and shorts and stuff that we're gonna see them chant Seth fucking Rollins.
exactly where I was going.
And look, I know we all want it. Let's be realistic. It's not happening. They will not drop the F bomb. That is gonna be my big prediction. Is that everyone? It's a joke, and it's just not gonna happen. I don't think we're gonna hear. I don't think we're gonna hear it. I
I hope
think if we do, it will just be tonight, and it will be a one-time thing.
I hope it's an every time thing, but I know what you're saying there. And yes, it is two beards tonight because fans, friends, household, Grun's friends, my friends, any chaos goblins out there, it is our dear old Annie O'Neill's birthday. She is celebrating her day of birth with her man Kevin Calloway. So they're out there creating their own bit of chaos, loving the world. We just want to say happy birthday, Annie. We love you here at IYH, and you and Kevin have a great time and celebrate that birth. Yeah, Lou, there you go. Get on board. Well, we got to kick you out of the chat. You freaking weirdo. You better say happy birthday to her.
Yeah.
There we go. But yes, Grun, we're here. We're at the final moments of well, we're within the hour. We're 52 minutes away from the big bomb going off for WWE. I mean, this has been awaited. This has been talked about. This has been gone through. There was many discussions. I know in the past year, there's been many freakouts from fans like me and you because there wasn't a certainty yet, you know.
Yeah.
And then we got a certainty, and we know where they're going. We know what they're moving towards. Let's go speculation game. Grun, what are you speculating happens tonight for this monumental Monday Night Raw?
Well, apart from a very specific debut, which is also being teased, he's going to have a manager, or I guess you could say an assistant, because Jose the assistant put out on X that he bought a new suit today or this past weekend, and like, wait, but He's not. Isn't he with AEW? I thought he was. I thought he was still with AEW. I didn't know he left.
Hmm.
So, and now that the rumor, the link, the rumors are Penta is debuting tonight, and not only is he debuting, he's debuting with Jose the Assistant.
All right, man. We gotta love that.
That
Yeah, that is something I'm looking forward to. And I know, Grun, you have been looking forward to it because when we
I
first
have.
heard about this rumor, we went nuts in our chat and we were speculating. We had a whole year's worth of storylines for these guys
Yeah.
all drawn up in an afternoon.
I thought for sure the Lucha Bros were AEW lifers. I thought that's what they were going to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, me too.
And then, holy shit, there are rumors that they're what going to WWE like that. That is huge because they've been big everywhere they've been. They've been the top tag team everywhere they've been, but they have. I don't think, at least not in the States, or at least not in WWE, have they ever faced the Motor City Machine Guns. At least not in the States have they ever faced Johnny Gargano and or Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know. Maybe there are people that are more familiar with the indies and they're running the indies and no, they've had run-ins with them before. It's just been years.
Yeah. And that's to me when we harken back to things like that, because I always go back to the Shane Helms and the Hardy Boys, their feud back in the indies. And it was what cemented like their fan base, the people who were going to follow them no matter where they went. And I think that if Penta faced any of these guys in the indies, that's the same thing. It was just, it cemented their fan base for that area. And it doesn't matter. Yes, it matters because it was done. It showed their brilliance that they can do with little. So now you're going into the big papa stage. You're going on the grandest stage of them all. And now everybody, so many eyes are going to get to see what these guys can do. And the fact that we have Penta showing up tonight, I can't wait for that entrance. It's going to pop so big, so big.
I do have another prediction because Rey Mysterio is going to be in tag team match tonight against I can't remember who the hell I can't remember. Maybe they're not important, but they never said it was going to be a member of LWO. They never said it was going to be another luchador. They just said a partner. So my guess is this is how they introduce Penta. He's going to be a member. He and Jose Diaz are going to be member of LW, are going to be introduced as new members of LWO. But for those that watched AEW, Jose the Assistant has a very good relationship with a certain idol or El Idolo.
Very true. Very true. Okay, so real quick, Grun, because you were bringing it up. We have CM Punk versus Seth Rollins tonight.
Yes.
Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. There'll be a Rock appearance. A Logan Paul returns tonight. That's a speculation. I can't really say that that's 100%. John Cena begins his farewell tour, which we already knew about that. But other than that, I am not. Maybe that wasn't the best one to go with, but I'm not seeing the rest of the card tonight.
I mean, I've got the WWE.com page. We got the women's world championship match between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. The tribal combat match between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Other than that, like other than what we've talked about, like that's all that's been announced for the show. Actually, we do have. I do believe tonight we're going to see Otis versus Chad Gable. Or was that last week?
I thought they wrestled last week.
That may have been last week. I think I may have booked it in my head that it should have been tonight. Okay. Thank you, boss. The New Day. Oh wow. I forgot that Rey Mysterio's going up against the New Day with his mystery tag team partner.
See,
Oh,
and we got the Lou chiming in. Let's go, mommy. Yeah, we know. And House is correcting us. Yes,
okay.
it was last week. You've deflated a little bit of my wind in my sails with the Rey Mysterio and Penta hookup. That's exactly what I said I didn't want to happen. But you also, kind of steered me back on course because you said you brought up the, Andrade and, his connection. So it's going to be one of those things, Grun, where we put a pin in it.
Yeah.
And we see what they're going to do with Penta. And maybe he has a banger of a match, and then there's a betrayal. Wouldn't it be awesome to start your WWE career betraying a Hall of Famer? He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's
we know that. We know
Yeah.
Ray's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
So
Actually, no, he is. He is a Hall of Famer.
and
What were we talking about?
look what we're getting in the chat.
Yeah.
We got our signature, putting a pin in it. And then we have House chiming in. Isn't it weird that the Judgment Day has no place on Raw on Netflix?
I mean, now wouldn't it be really interesting if Liv Morgan and her feud with Finn Balor starts to split the Judgment Day tonight? We start to see it more clearly because it was teased last week that Liv and Finn have different ideas on how to run Judgment Day, and Liv is trying to run this as a group. Finn is trying to run it as if it's his group.
Yeah, I mean, you're bringing up a great point there. But here's my issue with that. That's just a recycled storyline of with Damian Priest and Finn, but now you're using Liv.
Okay.
I mean, but you're making a great point though. That would be interesting. So we have House chiming in. If Penta joins LWO, I'm making cheddar type strongly worded email.
I mean, now I think everyone needs to remember the plans most definitely were the Lucha Bros debut in how the Motor City Machine Guns debuted, but because Tony Khan pulled the shit that Vince McMahon would have pulled, WWE can only have Penta right now. Ray Phoenix is going to be kept under contract with AEW probably till September-ish, October-ish of this year. So they had to change up plans, and I think and I think they have maneuvered themselves in a way to make it seem like that they are to open up the possibility for Andrade to eventually move to the same brand as LWO. That when Ray Phoenix comes in, then you have him and you have him join Lucha Bros for a little bit with his brother, and eventually you start planting seeds for the Lucha Bros and Jose the Assistant to join it with Andrade. Then you have a rather good feud potentially with LWO and whatever group this new Andrade is going to lead.
I mean, that's the most logical way to put it. I think you're probably tap dancing on the truth there and the way they're going to go. Here's my biggest gripe. It seems like as long as you have a little bit of a tan, you speak some Spanish, you're LWO. And to me, that's kind of annoying. And it's kind of like, it's just like, oh, okay, Just like back in the day, if you were big and white and had muscles, you were NWO, brother. You know, like come on, let's stop with that. Like we talked about on the In Your House shows, it would be awesome for them to do, especially being on Netflix now, a cartel type character. And I'm speaking like Scarface type dude who runs his own family. And I think Andrade fits that perfectly. We've seen him do some really cool things. And I think with the way the WWE is structured right now, a a truly put together story of a guy like that runs a cartel or is the son of the cartel runner, you know, something like that, I think would be so freaking awesome. Um, but you know, we can only do the time will tell. We see that. Lou's chiming in. I love how they brought it back, but it's run its course for too long. I agree with you. I agree with you. And plus, you know, I know I might get some heat for this, but the guys who actually made LWO entertaining and something to watch are no longer in a ring. One of them doesn't even walk this planet anymore. So, yes, do I get it? But it would be the same as bringing the BWO and having them, and then every overweight white guy who joins the WWE, you're BWO. You know, like let's pump the brakes on it. Let's not, hopefully they don't do this, and hopefully the LWO either runs its course or there's an actual reiteration of it. There's an actual like restructuring of it. There's a something, you know what I mean, Grun? Like give us something new to it. Just don't revive it because you buried it in the pet cemetery and the old man told you that road down there, you don't want to go down that road. Things don't come back the same. You know what I'm talking about? No, you probably don't. That's over your age limit.
Well, I'm aware of the pet cemetery. I understand what
Did you go
saying.
down that road, Grun?
Rey Mysterio did, and Rey Mysterio he deeply always wanted to bring the LWO into WWE, and I understand that, but at the same time, like we have to recognize that they clearly they really just wanted to put Dragon Lee, and they've barely pushed him at all. Zelina Vega has benefited a little bit from being in LWO. However, there are two other guys that are in LWO that have not benefited at all. That's Joaquin Wild and Cruz del Toro.
How?
Look,
How? With the talent that they have, how?
Like, for those who don't
Blows
remember, and believe me, I barely recognize him from his time in TNA. Joaquin Wild was one Zima Ion, who was a broski DJ with Robbie E and I don't even remember the other guy's name. They were doing a Jersey Shore style gimmick that was they were so douchey, but he played the role well, and he was former X Division champion. And like he's a great wrestler who can get the crowd to either hate him or love him pretty easily. Like
he knows how to do his job.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like, look, if you're gonna do something with the group, do something with them. But it's like, I don't want memorial groups. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay, and you're like, oh well, AEW, like, yeah, AEW has a memorial group called the Dark Order, and they're only fucking around, still a thing for the fucking once a year that they are celebrating the life of Brody Lee. Tell me what happened to them, because they were once the hottest thing on AEW television, and as soon as Brody dies, they don't matter. That's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, in that aspect, yeah. And not only were they the hottest thing on AEW, they were also the hottest thing on AEW social media. the things that
Absolutely.
they were doing backstage were hilarious. How many times did we see Brody Lee talk down to somebody just because he didn't like their name?
Oh my
Like,
god.
it was such good, just like good extra ingredients to that
Yeah.
recipe that made the Dark Order,
It,
and when we got to see Brody Lee shine. Um,
absolutely.
uh,
It may have been silly, it may at times, but it's like it was so fucking funny. It was so hilarious. It
and
all worked.
it did, and that you know what, House, what you're saying there, I can understand that. It really shouldn't be a thing, but it was, and it was fantastic, and it is still. I mean, you had Uno doing his nonsense out there. Um, uh, here we go. Yes. House, exactly. Brody
Oh,
Lee screaming, "Who the fuck is Griff Garrison?" That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. The content, the extra ingredients that they brought, um, really pumped up more AEW content, more eyes to AEW, and I agree with you with the Memorial Group. It's time to move on. And speaking of Memorial Groups, how are you feeling about the actual John Cena farewell tour?
uh,
What are your honest feelings about it, Grun?
John Cena was absolutely one of the first wrestlers I really fell in love with. And this was 2005. He it was like a week or two removed from when he had defeated Chris Jericho in a "You're Fired" match, and his next feud was against Kurt Angle over who truly loves the United States more, who loves the American history more. That was my introduction to Kurt Angle. That was my introduction to John Cena. Kurt Angle being an arrogant ass, thinking that he's the greatest gift from America. John Cena being talking about how you need to respect history, you need to respect the ones that came before, and how and now he was going to teach Kurt Angle all that, and the love, the hustle, loyalty, respect. Like I was in my teens, and like I like when I was 14, like that was that was when the years got dark, and I had John Cena to come on. his Yeah, I've got a lot more love for John Cena than a lot of people had at that time, and thinking this is going to be his retirement tour is really, it's really hitting me hard.
Oh, I
And
bet.
you know what, like John Cena, whether I loved or hated things that he's done in the last 10 years, he was an important part of my childhood in pro wrestling, and all I gotta say is thank you, John Cena.
Yeah. I mean, he was definitely a huge influence in the wrestling world. And he really brought forth that the child eyes onto wrestling. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they even guys our age were able to put away our knowing that certain moves are choreographed and things and just buy into it. Whether you loved him or you hated John Cena, you bought into what he was giving you. You bought the product, you didn't return it, you enjoyed it. Because there was many times where, I was against John Cena because he was taken away from my attitude era. He was coming in, he was taken away from my greats, the guys that when you spoke passionately about John Cena, he was defeating and getting over on guys that I speak passionate about, who shaped
yeah,
my teenage years. And that feud between him and Kurt Angle was fantastic. Um, and it was so great because you had Kurt Angle with his three eyes, and then you had John Cena coming in with his saying that was three words, so it was almost like they were able to form Cena as the Kurt Angle for the next generation, but done differently, done with a
yeah.
WWE twist, given that little bit of attitude and things like that. And I mean, honestly, when we dive back into it, we almost didn't have John Cena. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for one bus ride and Stephanie listening to him, we wouldn't have had him. I'm right there with you, House. You and me, we're in the old age home together. Grun's stopping by for a visit to talk to us about it, but
I,
he's looking in because he's a few years behind us, so
yeah.
he might be checking
I,
in soon.
I mean, yeah, I got to a point where I was sick of John Cena, and it was uh it was the time before he started doing a US Open challenge that I liked that they were finally doing that, having him have matches against Adrian Neville, Pac, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and like him really actually putting people over.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, love or hate the dude, you cannot deny what he did for WWE, for wrestling in a
Yeah.
whole worldwide. I mean, the dude, I will never say anything bad about the fact that he gives up his time to spend with people who don't have much left. And and you know, the dude never turns down a fan, You don't really ever see that with him. But yeah, this tour is going to be, this is going to take us a year long, right? It's his official year long. We're
Yeah.
going to, I mean, he's not going to be every single thing, but he's
About
going.
about 40 events is what he's gonna be at this year. So I mean, like that's most weeks. So
Yeah,
he we'll see him for most of the year.
well, that's promising,
Yeah.
Hopefully he switches it up too, and maybe we get him on a SmackDown here and there, because John Cena on SmackDown back in the day, it was
Yeah.
entertaining to watch. I
Yes.
will say that. It was definitely a fantastic thing. But moving on, another guy who is slated to be there. He was supposed to be what John Cena was to you when I was growing up, and at one time he did. I ate my vitamins, I said my prayers, I ran around in my tidy whities. I thought I was Hulk Hogan. I had a great uncle who, up until his passing, called me Hulk. That was his nickname for me because that's who I thought I wanted to be. But the immortal Hulk Hogan was appearing tonight. And what was the extra bit of spice you threw in on that, Grun, for the information?
Well, for at least a few years, next couple of years, WWE will have a sponsored beer called Real American Beer, which, if you're unaware, is Hulk Hogan's uh specific beer brand.
It's piss
Now,
water.
now, now I don't know where you can get it because I looked on my phone and you can't get it in Pennsylvania. I know that much. So hopefully with this deal it does start spreading and we can and I get. I know there are a lot of people who really dislike Hulk Hogan for the tape that came out some time ago and for his really crappy apology to the WWE locker room at the time. And I know there are people that still hate him even for his politics. And I understand that Hulk Hogan, and even not even just that, but Hulk Hogan did try and railroad the Undertaker's career early on by saying he was unsafe with the pile driver, the tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
So he cannot. So none of that should be forgotten. But at the same time, we should recognize that he has done his best to try and redeem himself. And if you don't think he's ever redeemed himself, like I'm not going to try and change your mind. That's going to be your opinion.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with Vince McMahon and all the wrong, all the bad that they've done in their careers. It does not change the fact that they did so much good for the pro wrestling industry that to erase them from the industry would be more of a sin honestly, than the things they did. And granted, they did some pretty horrible things. They've got like they're definitely guilty of a plenty, but because of their impact, because of Hulk's impact, we can't erase him from WWE history.
Yeah, and I totally get that. I'm just saying you don't have to drag them out either.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of.
Well,
I mean,
well,
honestly, if they wanted
so
to go with somebody who honestly is like out there doing the good and is still remembered as a beloved wrestler, you got Bret Hart.
you got Bret Hart, you got Stone
Yeah,
Cold Steve
Stone
Austin,
Cold.
who has
Yeah.
Stone Cold has his own beer brand, and just to clarify, like, so Hulk Hogan will not. It just said Hulk Hogan's going to cut a promo. Now, if I remember correctly, the way I read it, it's going to be a video that they're just going to play a pre-recorded video of Hulk cutting a promo, because they probably know that Hulk's not. If Hulk were in the arena, he would probably not get a good reaction, or at least a mixed reaction, and it's not. So this will probably be the one part of the show where they might manipulate how the crowd is reacting, simply because, to be honest, yeah, it kind of would dampen the show if you heard the fans booing Hulk Hogan watching on television or on Netflix.
Or it could be a way for them to use that and bring back Hollywood Hogan.
Maybe. I mean,
you never know with the
no.
with the way they do it, and plus this linking up. Who knows? I mean, hey, whatever deal they struck must have been beneficial for both parties. So there's, I don't run the company, you don't run the company, so there's not much we can say. I'm just saying that when it was brought up about Austin's beer in the chat, I was like, oh yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you go that way? To me, this is almost like going out and asking Conor McGregor right now if you can use his whiskey and have them sponsor a little bit of WWE there. Kind of will stay away from there. But whatever it does, it's still going to be a fantastic Raw tonight. We are still looking forward to it. We are outside. Looks like 23 minutes before we kick off to Raw, which is a 3.5-hour episode tonight, and it is live on Netflix. The inaugural episode with the Netflix deal. The Raw is moved to Netflix. We are getting 3 hours of Raw. I know tonight's a special night, so it sounds like they're putting a little extra time on there, which interesting idea that you're in a platform in which you can play with time, minus or plus. I mean, there's really no restrictions on it, right? I mean,
no, because it's like as like it's going to be available to be watched back almost immediately. Their Netflix, and people are allowed to watch anything, regardless of whether it's live or not. They're allowed to watch anything while something else is on, well, even if it's live. So there is no issue with hey, we went a little long. So they could be making this 3.5 hours to try and get people used to the idea that you can go a little bit over, but also remind people like, hey, try and stick to the allotted time.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I mean, like, the Triple H era has been way more better with planning, so people have had to get used to the fact that things are actually pretty much planned out ahead of time, and it's rare that anything is changed the day of or or just a couple hours before. And even when it does, like it somehow it still benefits the show. It doesn't hurt the show in any way.
Yeah,
At least
the
not
Mad
in a really
Wizard
big
back
way.
there. Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, you're also allowing the talent that extra relief. They don't have to worry about that. They don't have to think about that.
Yeah.
They can just go out there and focus on whatever story that they're trying to deliver, and hopefully it's paying off. I'm just starting to see some of the chat. I think it will usually be 3, but with no range, maybe there will be a super show one night for more hours. That's a good possibility. The Lou chiming in with some words of
Maybe.
wisdom. And we got Hypocrisy Jones himself. What? Wrestling is planned. Smiley, laughy face. Wild, he says. And if you haven't been around Hypocrisy Jones lately, he's got some one word answers that he's been using very often. He's almost like the uncle that
Yeah.
you try to hang out with because he's like really cool, and he might buy you beer. And then he just answers like that, like you're annoying him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's actually watching you in case this probation officer comes by, and you could be like, I'm watching the kids, man. You can't take me. And the probation officer like, I'm gonna get you next time, Jones. Yeah. So Grun, are we looking forward to anything else on this Raw? Are we looking, is there anything out of the ordinary you're expecting besides what we already kind of know is happening, kind of the layout? And after that, I want to kind of get into that Bronson Reed tweet I
Yeah.
shared.
I guess the one thing I'm really looking forward to outside of everything else is are is what is if Logan Paul is going to show, which I'm going to put money on he does have some sort of appearance. What does he do? And the bigger thing I'm going to be interested in is what happens with Judgment Day, because I've had this idea that Dominic does turn babyface down the line, but it's after being aligned with Logan Paul for a bit, who treats him poorly, and to try and in that people start hating Logan Paul a lot more than they hate Dominic, and they end up feeling sorry for Dominic.
Okay. Now that you put that together, that kind of sounds very interesting, because how do you get the biggest heel that we've seen in the longest time become a face? Well, you put him up against somebody and you give him a storyline with somebody who naturally people just hate.
Yeah.
They just hate this kid.
It's the perfect way.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing here. Logan's gonna run his moof. And
He will.
Jones he's not jumping on with you.
I mean, look, I've got one idea, and if I've learned anything from this Triple H era, is that he really knows exactly what he's doing. Whatever we think he's got planned, we're either right and he's doing it better than we expected, or he says, no, that's dumb. Here's how you actually do it correctly. And we just say, you know what? You're right, Papa H. We're really sorry that we didn't think of it the way you did. We're sorry, Papa H.
Yeah. And I see what you're saying, Jones, but then I just, for some reason, I have Randy Orton's whole career just popping off in my head, and how he was just trying to be the biggest heel, the most venomous viper out there, and people just loved him. I mean, we ultimately learned to love Randy Orton. But when he was running around with DiBiase's son and them, people did not like Randy Orton.
No.
People could not stand him.
No, but I just saw, like, Randy never really changed much when he was heel or babyface. He was always the same character. It was just the same persona. It was just, who was he aiming it at?
Very true. But there was also some feuds he had with other people who were heels, and it came to the point with, who do you hate the least in this feud. And sometimes it would go into Randy Orton's favor.
Mhm.
You know, here we go. We got the Lou chiming in. Grun, it is way too late for a monster.
No, it's not.
That became natural. Randy earned his flowers. True. Totally true.
100%.
And we got I think Dom has the ability to. I think so too. And I see where you're saying. There's a different way to get him to that level. But it would be interesting though, having Logan team up and then feud against Dominic. I kind of would like to see that, and see where they both can take that interesting thing. So I sent to the group chat a Bronson Reed tweet. He came out and he said that it was a complete snap of something. But the main reason behind this tweet, because he explained exactly what he was a little upset about, was these spoiler pages, these wrestling pages, and the fact that they're out there saying certain things. Like they said, what did they say he had, like a fracture?
Yes, so I had brought up exactly what you posted.
Okay.
Dirt Sheets reported he had an ankle fracture injury. He corrected them by saying he smashed his talus bone completely in half. He had to have it surgically repaired with screws and fragments taken out. Also had some bone marrow taken from his hip and put into his foot. Then he went on to say that he is missing Raw Netflix, he is missing Rumble, he is missing Mania, probably going to be out for the rest of the year because of this injury, and then went on to say, please keep up with me on social media at this time. Understand I've had a serious injury and undergone serious surgery and have serious implications from that. It's not merely a fracture. Now, if it were me, a 240-pound man, or even when I was 120 pounds in high school, if I had landed the way I did, I probably wouldn't have broken my foot that bad. This is a nearly 300-pound man.
Yeah, this is a monster.
Okay, so it's like it's not unreasonable to think that because he weighs so much more, that if he does break a bone, it kind of makes sense that he would break it worse than the average person.
Oh yeah, and especially doing what they do, and you're expecting everything to do what it's supposed to do, and then it doesn't. I mean, you're already prepared for your next move. You're prepared for if you're going to be the one to take the bump from whatever you just did, things like that. So I'm there with you, man. And it's really telling too, that you could tell in that tweet that he's a bit annoyed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it wasn't pleasantries he was sending out there.
No.
He's annoyed that the fact that, and it's like Jones said, dirt sheets just don't be knowing. It's all a poll for clicks, and he's right on that one. And he did say that's a lot of gravity. You are 100%, and a lot of mass coming down with that gravity. But you know what this really did for me though, Grun?
What's that?
This really made me love Bronson Reed even more. Because he's not sitting back and just letting people tell his story. He's like, look, this is, if you want to know what's going on with me, follow me here, be here. Don't be listening to these guys, and I'm not saying all of Dirt Sheets is bad and garbage, but I'm saying there's I've learned in the past 8 years, and I'm pretty sure you have too, Grun, that you need to pump the brakes when you hear something.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a good chance in a day or two, everything that you knew or thought you knew is going to be completely different, changed, and you're going to be on the wrong side. So now you have to, figure everything out. So that's why I haven't been talking about Bronson Reed since the injury, because I've been waiting to hear, exactly what he's had to go through, and now we know. So I guess all we can really say to that is we hope the Australian monster gets better,
Yeah,
quick, and I it's a year. He's gonna be out a year.
close to it. And I mean, like, now I don't remember where I heard this from, but I'm positive I heard something like that close to after his injury at War Games, and like that's what I went with. I heard Dirt Sheets say exactly what Bronson Reed said they said, and like, okay, well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that a news uh that that a writer got bad information from a source.
Jones, that is not what the other Jones was talking about. Come on, Jones. Your Uncle Alex was.
I have to agree with Josh here, because I have heard I've heard the explanations, I've heard both sides, and I know the clip that Jordan Jones is referring to. And yes, that clip alone can
Oh,
definitely
it's
make
fantastic.
it can make Alex Jones sound like a crazy man.
Oh, it does. There's no it can. It does. You don't deliver information like, hey, come on, hey guys, it's Monday Night Raw, and everybody ready for this? People would be like, I'm not watching these guys. That's insane. But yeah, so Grun, we hope as a group, as a team of IYH, to see Bronson Reed sooner than later.
Absolutely.
But yeah, breaking a bone completely in half, like you said, you're gonna be out for some time. You're gonna be
yeah.
You gotta love it. Okay, so Grun, we are officially 8 minutes outside of the very first Netflix Raw, 3.5 hours. This feels like not our accomplishment, but like the next step in the evolution of WWE, and I'm for it. I think it's going to be a fantastic move. I think we're going to see right now exactly what they are completely capable of with a live show on a Monday night with a bigger range to where they can dance inside some more. Time especially. That's the biggest part right there. I'm so happy we're back to 3 hours. This 2-hour Raw shit was not cutting it for me. There's too many great storylines. Too much momentum got died down from others. But Grun, I'm going to give you the last words on tonight's Netflix Raw, and then go into where people can find you, and then we'll send everybody off to Raw.
Tonight's Raw, like you said, it is going to be revolutionary. It is going to be game changing, and I cannot wait to see everything that happens on Raw. The one last thing that I did hear was that Stephanie McMahon was going to be making an appearance on Raw tonight. Now, we don't know if that means she's rejoining the company or if she's just making an appearance as a member of the WWE family. But with that being said, you can check me out at twitch.tv/grunmeister for my Grun's Room SmackDown preview review shows. Sometimes I stream. I've been thinking of streaming on more days again, playing Marvel Rivals, Call of Duty, and I've been playing some more Soulsborne stuff off stream. I'm like, maybe I should go back to bring this back, because you know what? I do enjoy gaming, and I do I do. There is a part of me that misses streaming outside of pro wrestling stuff.
I can understand that, Grunmeister. And you know what? I'm going to slay two birds with one stone here. Grun, get your ass back onto streaming. Everybody loves it. Everybody grun's out there. He's balls deep in this new Marvels game, and I've been watching him and the other guys out of the Buddies network, do their thing. I don't participate. And then Nick, I'm going to say to you and to Nicole, you guys are 90 years old if you just think 2 hours of Raw is hunky dory. You need 3 hours. You put 3 hours on Raw. That's what Raw is. 3 hours. So you need it. There's way too many amazing people to highlight on a Monday Night Raw to try to squeeze in. 2 hours be breezy, especially no one needs sleep. You sleep when your expiration comes up. But anyway, so we don't want to leave the fans with a morbid thought, so we'll leave them with where they can find me. It is I, the voice, Joshua Joseph, and you can find me here every Monday night with my team. Here we go with the blue-eyed villain himself, the Grunmeister, and our absent birthday boyfriend giver something goblin of chaos, Kevin Calloway.
Something
He's
like
the
that.
other co-host. And you can catch us here 7 p.m. where we talk Monday Night Raw. Tonight was just a little one where it's a big moment. We have Raw moving, so we wanted to just talk about and speculate. And plus, Kevin's not here to do all the fun stuff with us. So you can always catch us here Monday night, 7 p.m. Tune it in, subscribe, follow us. Then you'll know when we go live. Outside of that, though, there is a thing called Friday Night where me and House, we go extreme. It is ECW Friday Night Extreme here in your house. And it is me and House, and we go live, we go extreme, and we go back into the 90s. Right now, we are in 97, November of 97. The next one installment will be November to Remember 1997. Me and House are going to sit down and we are going to watch that pay-per-view with you because we love you and we want you to enjoy what we enjoyed and relive what we love to relive. And that is ECW Hardcore TV, where it gets extreme. So come visit me, House, Joey Styles. There's a little bit of Tommy Dreamer. New Jack has been hitting people in the heads. Sandman's back. He's not blind. So come join us. Have some fun. Sunday. That's where you get anybody who's available in the household. And we talk wrestling. We had the guys make their comeback yesterday. It was just yesterday. It was Grun. It was Jones. And it was House. And it was Wrestle Talk. And they talked all wrestling things. So those are just a few of the shows that we're involved with. There's so many more shows on our network. Come join us. Come be a part of it because we are in your house and you are a part of the household and we all want to be friends. We'll call you up. Come hang out with us on a Monday, on a Tuesday. Well, no, it's Wednesday now. I think Tuesday's gone. I think they do Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. It's all those days. So come join us. Come have some fun. And we will catch you on the next one.